9 minutes till recording. Hidden History with Ray says, "Hello, Derek. Just finished your podcast." Thank you. Ray, if that's you, thanks, man. Hopefully you liked it. I just looked at your channel too a minute ago. Pretty interesting, man. I like that urban exploration. That's cool. All right, the goal of this stream is to record and finish part 5 of Shadows in the Pines. Cryptic Tales has arrived. Welcome in, buddy. Oh, I just woke up like 20 minutes ago. So, we'll see how this goes, I guess. What's the goal? Part 5 of Shadows in the Pines. That's what we're here for. This is a limited series horror podcast that I've developed and had a lot of help bringing to life. And there's 6 parts, and this is going to be part 5. You get to hear it now, recorded in real time. Hopefully, I can start dropping fully produced episodes July, I guess. Maybe this will be a summer drop. I don't know, man. I wanted to... Well, it doesn't matter what I wanted, but anyway. How's this series coming along? Good. Slow but sure. Slow but sure. Thanks for asking. Excuse you. Oh my gosh. Alright, this series is cool, man. So far I've been able to announce that Let's Read has a voice role in it. Booze and Booze has a voice role. As the Raven Dreams, Horror on the Rocks, Gemini Reads, Danny Dreadful, Amanda Jane from The Darkest Hour. So, Vidith22, dude, so many friends, so many homies, so many new acquaintances were able to join me on this one, and I'm so grateful for it, man. It's so cool. I'm stoked. There's 2 more parts to do. This is part 5. I can record part 6. I don't know, man. Hopefully next week or the week after. Just depends. I gotta wake up, though, right? Gotta wake my butt up. La 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 la. Gonna warm up my vocal cords too, man. But no Cryptic Tales. Not yet, dude. Not yet. Don't be sad. Hey, how did that iceberg video do, Cryptic? That you had a bunch of people on. Hopefully that did well. The deepest, darkest pit. And it was in that moment that he realized that someone, or something, was watching him. And he didn't like it. Damn. Just getting warmed up, everybody. Chill with me. If you're looking at the screen on this, there's the art for the series, Shadows in the Pines. Got that from a dude named Jaden from Fiverr. Super talented dude, man. Happy to have found him. It's all digital illustration. KK says, "Morning, Derek." Yeah, good morning indeed, dude. I'm still waking up. I feel like I should have waited a little bit, at least to get like the boogies out of my eyes and my voice doesn't sound so tired. Maybe we warm up. Alright, so what I've got to do here, regardless, wish you nothing but the best, and the iceberg, you mean the Dark Origins Halloween video? Maybe that's what I mean. I remember you put up some, like, internet mysteries, lost media, maybe it was like creepypasta iceberg? I really don't remember. It's been so long. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, just to get warmed up, is read a quick Glitch in the Matrix story just to wake the voice up. So bear with me here. Or just, sit back and enjoy the story. We'll see what happens. I was looking at a plane in the sky with my mom around 4 or 5 p.m. when I noticed something weird. It looked like a white ball of light. Not as bright as the sun, but still very noticeable. The strange part was that it appeared next to the plane, not orbiting it, just close to it. It wasn't like a typical light or object. It appeared, shook violently in one spot for a split second, kind of like it was charging up, and then teleported to another spot near the plane. This happened a few times, and it seemed like the ball was following us in the plane, just teleporting to different spots around it. The whole thing lasted maybe 30 seconds, but each time the ball appeared, it stayed in one spot for just a moment, and then zipped to another spot in a way that felt like it was teleporting. The plane hadn't moved much, but the ball moved around it as if it was scanning the plane. My mom and I both saw it, and I was around 6 or maybe 7 years old at the time. I'm 31 now. I can't explain it, and I've never seen anything like it since. Has anyone ever experienced anything similar? Alright. Does that count as a warm-up? Love says, what time is it for you? It's 4:37 for me. 4:37 in the AM. Seems crazy to be up so early. Yeah, I have 2 young boys, and they do not shut up. They are just constantly talking. not 24/7 because they're asleep for a little bit, but dang, dude. So yeah, the only time when I get like any quiet time in the house is literally 4 in the morning. So that's when I do most of my recording. Yeah, the Dark Origins. It's not an iceberg. Oh, my bad. It's more of a list. It was uploaded last October on Halloween Day. Yeah, where I talked about, I narrated Candle Cove. That's right. It's all coming back to me now. Dang, that was last October? Holy crap. Okay, maybe I'm warmed up enough. I don't know. Let's see. We'll just wing it. We'll do it live with the vibes. Alright. So far, just to catch everybody up, this is part 5 out of part 6 of Shadows in the Pines. What it is, it's a home invasion story with a twist. And the twist happens pretty early on. So really we get to spend the bulk of the story learning how to manage the twist and what kind of repercussions it causes, and what ripple effects come from that revelation early on. And the twist is, since you're here in the live stream, I feel like I can tell you secrets. There's a group of 4 people in this cabin off in the woods somewhere, and they're being home invaded, right? Fucking terrifying. Not my kids, my sisters. I have a 16-year-old and 11-year-old sister and a 12-year-old, so I Oh my god, dude, yeah. Not your kids, but your sisters? Yeah, for sure. So dude, like if those people are awake, it's not quiet. And it will not be quiet. No matter how much you ask, it doesn't happen. Home invasion, right? However, one of the main characters, her name is Maya, she's weirdly being able to stay one step ahead of these home invaders, and she's able to know what they're going to do next. And for the most part, she's able to keep her friends safe, right? And she's like suspiciously good at it. Well, that's because she used to roll with this same group of home invaders. She knows the leader. She knows the tactics. She was really good at, home invading with this group, and now she's run away from the group, hopefully to never find them or be found by them again. Well, they found her. It's been a couple of years since she's left that group, but they found her. And now they're here to either take her back into the group, because she was a very strong member, or take her out entirely, right? So once we learn that, everything that comes after is just this tense chase scene. The friends really don't know if they can trust Maya or not. Some of them think that she's orchestrated this whole thing to kill them. Another one believes every single word she says, right? But is still a little bit skeptical, maybe. All right. The gist is, just to catch you up from the first 4 parts, the leader of the home invaders found Maya. They invaded her cabin with her 3 friends, but they escaped. They found a tunnel in the basement of that cabin, and they walked it. They come out the end of the tunnel, and they end up in a town in Joppa. They end up in a town in Joppa, Indiana, where all this takes place. The whole time, well, not the whole time, but they exit through the tunnel out of a cave. They come out in Joppa, Indiana, and it's weirdly quiet. They eventually stumble upon houses where everybody inside is dead. There's birds on the ground in like a perfect V formation. Dead. And they can't tell what these people are dead from. No gas leaks, because even like the animals that are outside, also dead. Damn, yeah, fuck. I'm I'm tired. I felt like that was a pretty lame exposition, catch up, but I don't know. Cake says Cake? I mispronounced that, but is that actually how it is, or is it KK? I was here for the last reading, and I'm trying to catch up. Thank you. Yeah, certainly. You don't have to, but I mean, obviously, love it if you do. Really just hanging out for like an hour at a time. And I don't know if you caught it earlier or not, but hopefully I can start dropping these fully produced episodes with the voice actors, with the amazing music as well. That's done by Enect. Such a talented freaking dude. I love him. He does the music for Booze and Let's Read as well. But he's basically customized this whole ass score for each episode. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear it. Hopefully July. I think July is probably realistic. Cryptic says I gotta watch the other parts. Gonna make sure I do it today. Thanks, dude. It is cool. The whole thing stems, and if you've been to one of the live streams, then you've probably heard this before, so I won't drag it out, but the whole thing stems from me watching, I think it was You're Next, back in like the mid-20 teens, and they kind of did something similar, but like much lamer. In that story, the main girl, she was also able to stay a step ahead and keep her Jesus Christ. Stay ahead, keep her friends safe, and kind of predict what their home invaders were going to do. And at the end, the twist was, oh, it's because she was a Girl Scout. And again, no disrespect to Girl Scouts. I love Samoas. But that just was not it for me. What a weak-ass reveal. What a lame twist. It would have been like 15% cooler if they revealed that she was a prepper, and her mom and dad kind of helped her train her in this sort of militant homeschool, always be ready, kind of a way. But that wasn't it. I think literally the twist was she was a Girl Scout. I'm pretty sure. And that was so, in the moment, that build up to that reveal was so lame for me, because you knew that she was something in her past life, right? Several years ago. And then when that happened, I was like, dang, okay, cool. Shout out Girl Scouts, but no, they're not going to keep you safe from a home invader. Or an organized group of them. What up, Sean? Up early. Yeah, dude. Oh my God, I'm still waking up. Oh, my voice sounds tired and I'm yawning. We'll see if I can make it to the end. There's 15 pages, dude. Wish me luck. 15 pages on part 5. Well, anyway, ever since then, I've just been waiting for somebody else to tell the story that I thought they were going to tell, which was, the main character is so good at beating these home invaders because she used to be one, right? I thought that's what they were going to do, but to my knowledge, that story was never told. That movie was never made, so I figured now, 10 or more years later, I'm in a place where I can develop and create and tell that story myself, with a lot of help along the way, by the way. This was written by Dr. Plague. Such a cool dude, so talented. And he voices one of the characters as well. He voices Derek? And I know it's weird to have a character named Derek in a story that I created, but I swear, the person that named these characters didn't know that my name was Derek, so that's not just me being weird. Looking for the Magic. I haven't heard that one, but I will check it out. Cryptic, yeah. Bro got an arrow to the head, and of course the Middle Eastern guy dies first. Alright. Homies, I'm gonna go blow my little nosy, and then when I come back, I mean it this time, we're gonna hit record. Be right back. KK says, yeah, love him. He's co-writer with Rocky. Yeah, for sure he is. Yeah, he's co-writing Rocky's I Inherited a Mortuary series. Good stuff. Very good stuff. Alright, guys. He says, you've heard that song, D-Rock. That's the song they play and pretty much never stops playing in You're Next. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. I'm sure that when I check it out later, I'll go, oh, yeah. Sean was right. I have heard this song. All right. Let me get some work in, and then I'll catch up with you guys. Hang tight. They had stopped at the A-frame house because Connor had been insistent, telling them that they needed to find help. It's 10 miles to Joppa. These people could still be looking for us, and if time isn't on our side, if we can get a ride... Oh, shit. It's 10 miles to Joppa. These people could still be looking for us, and time is not on our side. If we can get a ride, all the better. Maya had insisted that they walk, but Jack and Lena were already insisting that their feet were sore, and a ride would be best if they wanted to be able to walk tomorrow. They had found the A-frame by the side of the road. The porch, a shadowy... That was weird. Hey, Sam. They had found the A-frame by the side of the road. The porch, a shadowy mass as the structure sat against the wash of trees. Damn, I feel like I'm running out of breath. They had found the A-frame by the side of the road. The porch, a shadowy mass as the structure sat against the wash of trees, like a stage fit for ghosts. They came up slowly, not a light to be seen, and as they approached, Maya stopped dead in her tracks. "Maya," Jack whispered, falling back a little. "Maya, what's wrong?" "There's someone on the porch," she whispered. They hadn't caught it with their eyes, which were so used to light. What? They hadn't caught it with their eyes, which were so used to light. Okay. They hadn't caught it with their eyes, which were so used to light, but Maya was a creature of the dark. She had seen them there, sitting in a little chair as they watched the four come slowly forward. They weren't rocking. They didn't seem to have a care in the world, and Maya was pretty sure they were dead even before she saw them slumped there. There was a broken coffee cup near their feet, the liquid drank long ago by the thirsty concrete. "They're dead," Maya said, taking her hand off her knife. "Are you sure?" Connor asked, reaching out with the tip of his fire poker. Connor said, reaching out with the tip of his fire poker before Maya batted it aside and pushed the shoulder of the dead person. It was an elderly woman. Her skin was still spongy. Maya could feel the cold radiating off of her, but she couldn't have been dead that long. Her skin, despite being old and wrinkled, wasn't bloated or rotten at all. It was like her heart had simply stopped as she enjoyed an evening on the porch. Was she stargazing? Was she watching night birds? Who could say? It didn't stop her from dying. Maya looked over when Connor opened the door to the house, Jack coming in behind him. "Should we really be breaking in?" Lena asked, looking tentatively around the door jamb. "It's not breaking in," Connor said, trying the switch but finding the power out. "The door's open. This is the second house of dead people that we've found, and I'm getting hungry." "And what if it's the food that's killing them?" Maya said as she came in behind them, seeing someone on the couch who was a little too... I keep hitting the mic. Seeing someone on the couch who was a little too snugly under a comforter. "Then I guess I'll die full. Honestly, if it means I don't have to walk all the way to Joppa, then I'll consider it a win." By the light of the lantern, they had all sat around the little table as Connor rifled through the fridge. Luckily, the A-frame had a gas stove, so after some coaxing... Connor got it to light and managed to dig up a skillet from somewhere. He took some eggs and cheese out of the fridge, thought about it, and added some bacon as well. "It's probably rotten if the power's been off for a while," Jack said, looking at the little stack of food that his friend had dug out. Connor looked at the packaging, and when he tossed it to Jack, Maya expected it to be slimy. Instead, as she leaned closer to the lantern, she saw that the bacon was still pristine. It was thawed, but it was perfectly preserved as well. It was like something that could have been bought from the store that same day, and that seemed strange. Jack opened it up and took a smell, wrinkling his nose, but not in disgust. "It smells weird," he said as he shook his head. "Weird bad?" Connor asked, slapping his hands together so Jack could toss it back. "No," Jack said, wrinkling his nose again. "Just weird. It doesn't smell like anything but bacon. Just bacon." His inability to express himself was making him angry. Maya could tell. Jack was used to being able to articulate himself, to make himself understood, and whatever was going on here was alien as And whatever was going on here was as alien as that lukewarm bacon. Jack went to toss it back, but Maya reached for it. Her eye... Sorry, y'all. Hang with me. Jack went to toss it back, but Maya reached for it, her eye caught by something in the lower left corner. "Whoa, Connor, this bacon is way expired." "What do you mean?" Connor asked. "It had to have been bought today or it would be rotten." "Yeah, well, unless we've gone back in time, then it's gotta be bad. This label says it's from April 17th, 2016. Connor took the bacon and looked at the package, not believing it. His eyebrows went up, but when he shrugged and dumped it into the pan... His eyebrows went up, but when he shrugged and dumped it into the pan with the eggs, Maya shuddered. I guess we'll see what happens. Cool. So this is dope because if anybody in here is an SCP fan, and this is not an SCP story, right? I mean, it kind of feels like there's pretty heavy elements of a particular SCP, but I just thought it was so cool. I asked... I asked Dr. Plague to add this in there as he was developing it. There's an SCP. Oh man, let me go look it up. It's SCP-2935, and if you don't know what SCP is, the SCP Foundation, it's short for Secure, Contain, and Protect. And it's like this fictional, internet horror thing where basically there's thousands of entities, monsters or beings. Entities is a good word. I should have stopped there. That are basically living, right? Most of them are alive. And a lot of them are contained in this SCP facility. But some of the ones that are just not containable, like earthly elements, like caves, those are just blocked off. Anyway, if you look up SCP-2935, you'll see that it's a limestone cave in Joppa, Indiana. And the lore is that in the middle of April 2016, everything... Well, how do I put this? Everything stopped living. So if you find yourself in this cave and you exit through like the mouth that's been closed off recently, you'll be coming out in 2016. It's like a time warp situation, and everybody's dead. And I guess the food is still good. I don't know. And as I was kind of creating the story and like developing it with Dr. Plague, I just like, hey dude, I like this. Can you put this in there somewhere? And he did, and it makes sense, and I'm so stoked about, how it came out. But anyway, between me and you, that's just a little SCP Easter egg. Again, this isn't an SCP horror story. I just wanted You know, it's kind of like a if you know, you know kind of a situation. All right, let me keep reading. As the food sizzled in the pan, Maya glanced at the calendar next to the fridge. It should have caught her eye before now, but she had been distracted by the sheer strangeness of this whole situation. The picture was of a garden, the tulips coming in and the sun casting an arc of silvery light onto the yellow and red cups of the flowers. Someone had been marking days, but it appeared that they stopped on the 19th. Someone had been marking the days, but it appeared that they had stopped on the 19th. It was set to April, but it was the date that made her get up for a closer look. In the light of her flashlight, she read the date, 2016. "What is it?" Jack asked, but she ignored him. She went into the living room instead, and they can hear her rummaging. "What is it?" Jack asked again, moving into the living room as Maya picked up the newspaper with shaky hands. She turned it around and showed him the date, April 19th, 2016. Jack shook his head, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. "What?" she gulped, trying to fill this... "What?" she gulped, trying to fill his sudden... Who says that? Maya gulped, trying to fill his suddenly dry mouth? Maya's a girl. Alright, hold on. She gulped, trying to fill her suddenly dry mouth with spit. "What is this?" "I don't know. What the fuck is this shit? Oh, uh-oh. I think I miscolored something. Oh no! What? What? Okay, hold on. I've color-coded the lines so that the voice actors knew which lines were theirs. Because I don't expect them to read, you know, the entire thing. It'd be cool, but no, I mean, I don't expect that. But when I was color-coding these things, I think I might have mislabeled a couple of lines. Hold on. Let me see if I can make this make sense. Okay. I think I got it. "What?" he gulped, trying to fill his suddenly dry mouth with spit. "What is this?" "I don't know," Maya said, but she took the paper back into the kitchen and set it on the table. "Hey," Jack heard Connor say as she went over to the fridge, bumping him as his spot at the "Hey," Jack heard Connor say as she went over to the fridge, bumping him at his spot at the stove. Maya didn't stop. She took things from the refrigerator after checking the dates. Mustard, mayo, deli meats, a gallon of milk, and finally took the eggs off the counter that Connor had been putting the cracked shells into. "Are you going to tell us what's going on, or are you just going to be irritating?" Connor said, planting the eggs and bacon and bringing them to the table. Maya ignored her plate. "You see the date on this, right?" she said, showing Connor the expiration date on the eggs. Connor slurps up a mouthful of eggs as... Connor slurps up a mouthful of eggs as he looks, but... Oh, what the fuck, dude? Connor slurps up a mouthful of eggs as he looks, but only shrugs. April 15th, 2016. So what? Maya sighed and pushed the Fuck, dude. Maya sighed and pushed a mayo jar at Lena. "What about this one?" Lena looks over, chewing her bacon. March 27th, 2016. What is this about, Maya? She hands the meat to Jack, who reads it out through a... Fuck, Jesus, dude. Oh my god, okay, cool. I'll get it, it's just words. She hands the meat to Jack, who reads it out through a mouthful of eggs without being asked. April 18th, 2016. Maya, what are you getting at? She slams her hands on the table hard enough to make the plates rattle. All the food in the fridge, even the food you're eating, should have been expired a long time ago. Yet it hasn't. None of it is older than April 19th either. Why is that? Who knows? Connor says, swallowing a mouthful. But I still fail to see how this has anything to do with anything. Lena wobbled her head back and forth, as if to say, very strange, but so what? And Maya persisted. None of the people that... Okay, hold on. Cool. None of the people that we've encountered have been in any stage of decomposition. There's no blood, no purpling on the bodies, no bloating, no nothing. That's another thing, too. I can tell you from experience that it doesn't take flies long to find a dead body. Minutes, if not sooner. And I haven't seen a single bug on any of these people. Not a fly, or a roach, or a maggot, or anything. Maya, I'm trying to eat, Connor said, turning a little green. There isn't any sound either, she said, pushing on so she wasn't sidetracked. I haven't heard a bug or a bird or anything since we got here. So what? Connor said again, sounding frustrated. Isn't that why we all came out here? Didn't we say we were all tired of the smoke and the noise of town? Why are you making such a big deal out of this? We found out you were once a member of some thrill kill group, and we took it easy enough. Why can't you just chill out? Maya let out a breath. Thanks, Kay. It's so funny when you mess up. I just try not to get mad at myself. Take a little sip. Maya let out a breath that sounded distinctly growly, but Jack put up a hand. What are you getting at, Maya? Jack asked, his own food forgotten. I don't know how, but I don't think we're in our world anymore. They sat quietly for a moment, her friends glancing at each other before Connor snorted and went back to eating. Left Kansas behind, huh, Toto? Left Kansas behind, huh, Toto? I'm being serious, Maya yelled. We need to figure out where we are, and what's going on, and how much danger we're actually in. Connor shook his head. And how do we do that, Maya? Do we find a twister to step into? It would stand to reason that if we went back to the graveyard and found the tunnel that took us here, then we could get back to our own place. Excuse me. Connor had started shaking his head before she was even done talking. For all we know, your old friends set this up somehow. Maybe they had a little fun on their way to get to you. We're 6 miles from Joppa, and that's where I'm going. You can come with me if you want, or not. I don't care. Connor, Lena said, looking over him as... Connor? Lena said, looking over at him as she finished up his food. Fuck! I think I'm just going too fast. I gotta chill. Connor? Lena said, looking over at him as he finished up his food. Connor didn't respond. He tossed his dish into the sink, the breaking of angry dishes greeting them, and grabbed his backpack as he got up to leave. Connor, Jack said, standing up to block his way. We need to stick together. I'll admit, this shit is a little weird, but whatever we do, But whatever we do, we all need to do it together. Connor shoved past him as he headed for the door. No. What's weird is how comfortable you two are traveling with someone who knows people who just tried to kill us. You saw her fighting in the basement. She's no different than they are, and if she decided to, she could cut us up into pieces. Maya wouldn't, Lena said, but she faltered as Connor turned to look at her. Oh? Because we know so much about her, right? Because we all trust her so much? Open up your eyes, people. Maya is someone that we met, what, a year ago? Maybe less? Why are we just going... Bleh. Why are we just going along with whatever she wants to do? How do we know this isn't just some ruse to get us off alone so she can do us in herself? Maya could feel Jack and Lena looking at her, and her face reddened. Reddened? Maya could feel Jack and Lena looking at her, and her face reddened as she tried to form some form of argument. Connor, if I were going to kill you, I would have done it in the tunnel, or the basement, or at any point along the way here. I don't want that to be my life anymore. I want to be a regular person, she said, almost sobbing. Connor, fuck. Connor rolled his eyes, pushing the door open as he stepped onto the porch. Like I said, do what you like. I'm going to Joppa and I'm going home. Maya came after him, and the other two following in her wake. Listen, Connor, listen. Do you hear anything? A car? A bird? A cricket? This place is dead. If you don't come back with us, you might never... But at that moment, a lone noise came to them from about a mile up the road. It was the wild whine of a small motorcycle as it went about its suicidal pace. Connor made a pretentious noise in the back of his throat. I'll see what the rest of... and then tells the group, I'll see the rest of you when you come to your senses and make it back to campus. Maya, I'm not sure I want to see you again. Once I get some food in me and a good night's sleep, I might change my mind. Once I get some food in me and a good night's sleep, I might change my mind. But until then, I don't think I want to be around you for a while. He walked into the road and started heading for Joppa. What about you two? Maya asked, looking back at them as they stood in the doorway. Are you going with him? Lena looked at Jack, but Jack only shrugged at her. It is weird that the motorcycle is the only noise that we've heard since we've got here. I've lived around here my whole life, and you can usually hear some sort of animal noise, even in the wintertime. Yeah, Lena said. All the dates being wrong is another thing, and Maya is right about the bodies too. There should be bugs by now, or some kind of discoloration. It almost feels like we've wandered onto a movie set or something. Jack laughed. Wouldn't that be something? To find out all of this was just a movie that we were accidentally in? So, what do we do? Take a quick wee break, just so I can get some tea in me. Alright, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages to go. We have read 9 pages so far, and I have 6 pages to go. If you've got eagle ears, and I don't think that's a real thing, but you know what I mean. Instead of eagle eyes, you got eagle ears. You're hearing me record the lines for every one of the characters. That's because, I don't have, the voice actors in the room here with me to do it in real time. So what I'm doing is I'm just recording the lines myself, and I already have all of the audio from the voice actors. They sent it to me a couple of months ago. And now my job is just to finish recording the story, and when I come across a line of dialogue that, Booze reads, for example, I just delete my take, and then I edit his take in there instead. That way it feels like this very fluid, voice acty production, kind of a audio drama situation. Fuck, and I keep clearing my throat. I know that's not the greatest sound to listen to, I'm sorry. Another thing, too, is that when I'm doing these long lines of dialogue that other people are in charge of, I'm not putting like a ton of... this is going to sound bad and lazy, but I'm not putting a ton of thought, or nuance into those particular deliveries because I'm going to delete them anyway. So you might feel me shift from like this carefree, how do I put this? For example, like when Lena's like, all the dates being wrong is another thing, and Maya's right about the bodies too. There should be bugs by now. That's sort of feels a little bit careless and kind of like one-takey, because I know I'm just going to delete that shit anyway and put, Danny, for example, is Lena, so I'm just going to put Danny's voice in there instead of mine. And then when it comes to like the narrator, the shit that's like, Maya smiled. She wasn't used to having friends, and it was heartwarming. Like stuff like that. Like that's when I really turn it on, because I want that to be good, because that's gonna stay. Just a little bit of, insight to the production process. Sam says, "Ooh, I was wondering about how that would work." Yep, that's all. So really, I'm just, when I'm going in and I'm editing all the audio after I record it, I just get to a spot where Maya is talking, for example, which you heard me record, and then I just delete my audio, and then I just slot in Amanda's audio, because she's doing Maya. Editing. The power of editing. All right. 6 pages to go, dudes. Do you think I can do it? Jack looked back at Maya, biting his lip as he weighed his options. If those people knew we were going to... Fuck. If those people knew that we were going to be at the cabin, then it's possible that they know who we are. If they know who we are, then they might come back after... Then what the shit? And if they know who we are, then they may come back after retaliation. See, I can even laugh during this, and it's fine. Maya seems to be our best bet for surviving, so we should stay with her. So, he said, smacking his bat into his hand, if you're going back to the graveyard, then so are we. Jesus, dude. Maya smiled. Okay, hold on. Do I have like a... Okay. I found the mute button. There. Hopefully I can catch that in time, so you guys don't have to hear me fucking cough and clear my throat and shit. Hopefully I'm not coming down with anything. That would be bad. Okay, where were we? Maya smiled. She wasn't used to having friends, and it was heartwarming to have people ready to follow her. "Thank you," she said. "I hope I'm wrong, or that we actually have wandered onto some sort of movie set, because the alternative seems much, much worse." The wind... Shitty. The wind wiped through Derek's hair as he picked up speed. He was cruising along on... He was cruising along on the borrowed Honda, the miles clipping by as he headed for Joppa. Maya would have headed for the closest town, probably to figure out where she was, and on the bike, he could, hopefully. Kay says, "You got this." I hope so, dude. I can feel my throat drying up hardcore. That reminds me. The art on the thumbnail right now is this. It's a poster. It's available in an 18-inch by 24-inch poster. If you want it. There's a link in the description to make purchase. Again, I think I also made that as like least expensive as the website would let me, so whatever. And any money that does come from Shadows in the Pines posters or super chats during the live streams, they go straight back into the production cost. I gotta pay some people back, and there's gonna be, I think I'm gonna like run advertisements for the show, for the series, so that costs money, of course. So all that stuff just gets funneled right back into the production cost. Okay. Hold on. All right, the wind. The wind wiped through Derek's hair as he picked up speed. He was cruising along on the borrowed Honda, the miles clipping by as he headed for Joppa. Maya would have headed for the closest town, probably to figure out where she was, and on the bike, he could, hopefully, overtake her and make up for lost time. Derek had been hesitant about going into the holes he found in the ground of the cemetery, but it seemed the only way to get into the caves. The cemetery was old, 100 years or more, and the gates were barred and covered with caution tape. The sign said the ground was unstable due to the deterioration of the caves below, but Derek thought that it might be a little more than that. If the army guys had been with the Foundation, something that he had only heard about but now believed was real, then there was more here than met the eye. He had gone into the cemetery and seen the reason for the signs almost right away. The graves were sinking into the ground. The graves were sinking into the ground, many of them leaning into the earth at odd angles. Tombstones and markers sat cattywampus against the remains of their pushed-up resting pieces. Fucking places! Tombstones and markers sat cattywampus against the remains of their pushed-up resting places. Derek nearly tripping over the edge of a casket that was sticking up, and if it hadn't been for the moon hanging overhead, he would have been in for a rough time. As it was, he simply had to pick the most likely-looking hole. He took a thick nylon rope out of his small bag and attached it to the lip of one of the holes. He looked at the pinion that he had sunk... What? At the pinion? Okay. Thanks, Sam. I agree. The mess-ups and his reactions are funny. Okay, good. Okay, at least there's that. He looked at the pinion that he had sunk in to keep it there, hoped that it would hold and... hoped it would hold in the crumbly earth, and started descending. He had gone down and down and down, the tunnel growing smaller and wider in stages, and when he came out to find himself in an open grave, he was confused. He had gone down, so how did he find himself back up in the cemetery? He tugged on the rope, but it was still holding on to the spike that he had sunk in at the top. He was still hooked to something, and when he pulled himself out of the hole, bless you. He was still hooked to something, and when he pulled himself out of the hole, he almost expected to see the pin quivering not far away. Instead, he was treated to a less porous graveyard than the one that he had left behind, and the lack of sound languished around him was almost louder than the usual chatter that hung about the night. It was the first thing he noticed when he climbed out of the grave, the lack of noise and the lack of artificial sound. Even out here, you could always count on a truck going by or an airplane coming in to make some sound. It would be more likely that he would hear the chirp of crickets or the call of night birds, but he didn't hear that either. As he made his way through the familiar/unfamiliar graveyard, Derek thought he might have gone down after all. Down, 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 and then to hell, perhaps. Nonsense. Nonsense, he told himself as he made his way through the boneyard. If this was hell, then he didn't see what all the fuss was about. He had searched for signs of them and found them. The footprints were numerous, and they headed unerringly through the dirt and to the road. The sign beside the road was itself another sign. That's weird. The sign beside the road itself was another sign. It told him that the road was to Joppa, and Joppa seemed like the best place to find them. They would go there so that they could find a way back to their college. He headed to get them before they got there. What the shit am I reading? He needed to get them before they got to Joppa. Okay. He needed to get to them before they got to Joppa. Needed to get to them before they started talking to people. That would facilitate the need for a vehicle. So, Derek began to look. He found the old Honda behind a shed, but it was out of gas. It looked old and worn out, but the grass had not grown upward around it yet. Thank you for all the bless yous. It looked old and worn out, but the It looked old and worn out, but the grass hadn't grown upward around it yet. He looked for gas and was rewarded with a half a can in an old tool shed. It smelled fine, but it was thick and a little old. He poured it in. He turned the switch, stomped the starter pedal for nearly 10 minutes, and was again rewarded with a belching, angry growl as the bike came to life. Derek smiled. He walked the bike out onto the road and set out on his adventure. Now he was on his way back from Joppa, certain that he had missed them. It was a long walk, but they should be close by now. He had encountered no one on the road, but there was a lot of road between that cemetery and where he was headed. Maybe they stopped to rest at one of the houses that he had passed. He reflected and set off back up the road. Joppa had been a dark and foreboding place. Towns at that time of night are supposed to be dark, but not this dark. There were no streetlights in Joppa, no lights in the apartment buildings on the outskirts, not even the subtle glow of TVs left on or night lights from kitchens or hallways. It was just black. The moon, cut off by the buildings that had slunk oh, I was doing so good too. The moon cut off by the buildings as it slunk between them. There was no apocalyptic horror film. There were no zombies or derelict cars blocking the road. But there was a truck that had struck. Okay. But there was a truck that had struck a building. Fuck. Okay, I'm so sloppy, dude. Hold on. But there was a truck that had struck a building near the gas station that he had passed. It was a milk truck, he thought, and it was sticking out of the side of the hardware store. The driver was dead, but that was no surprise. The surprise was that there were no cops or emergency vehicles. The front of the car was blackened, like it had been on fire that had burned out. The bricks piled up on the hood The bricks piled up on the hood looked as if they had been there for years, and Derek walked the Honda over to the gas station across the street. It was dark too, and behind one of the pumps, he found a dead person. The man was dressed in a service station uniform, and he was lying on a half-opened garbage bag. The garbage can had clearly cut his face as he fell, and there was a dried stain on the pebbled rocks leading down to the face of the body. The top was off the can and lying on the ground beside it. It appeared that the man had died while changing the garbage, but his arms were still as pink and unblemished as if it had just happened a moment before. Derek pushed his... Okay, 1, 2, D... Okay. Can I get some encouragement in the chat? I got 3 more pages to go, and my voice hurts. Maybe like I don't know, dude. I record at this time of the day all the time. Maybe I am coming down with something. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna find out where I left off. Actually, I'm gonna go blow my little nosy, and I will be right back. Yeah, Cryptic says, you got this. With some clappy hands from Sam. Thank you. Thanks, Misa. Alright. Yeah, not me coming down with something too. Maybe. Probably. I don't know, dude. My oldest has strep throat. We just found out yesterday, and of course we hang out all the time, so I'm just hoping I don't have it. That would be bad. Derek pushed his head a little and saw the pool of blood beneath the ripped open cheek. It was jellied and old, and he left him there as he got back on the bike and drove away. What the hell happened here? Derek didn't know, but it had been bad. Fuck. Derek didn't know, but it had been bad. He had turned back then, realizing that he had beaten them here. After such a walk, they would have been exhausted. He felt sure that if he got into any of the apartments, he would find more dead bodies. He wondered if it had been a sickness or something, but he didn't have time to wonder. Everyone was dead, and he was quite sure of that. But at least one person was alive in here, and he had to find her. He was driving up the road when he saw it. A sign. What? He was driving up the road when he saw it. The sign, dark but readable in the moonlight. Spring Gala, April 18th through the 20th. Come and see what grows in our garden. That date seemed important somehow, but he didn't have time to contemplate it. He rode easily up the road, his hood catching the wind as he weaved around the occasional stalled car, and as he came back to the small woods, the trees closing in on them, he saw something that he had missed before. There was a small road heading nearly adjacent to his. What the fuck? There was a small road heading nearly adjacent to his, and someone was coming up it. He turned his bike in that direction, and when the man looked up, hopeful and glad to have found someone, Derek recognized him. It wasn't the one with the bat, but it was the one who had brandished the fire poker. He lifted a hand as the bike came to rest before him, and Derek was glad that he had remembered to put his hood up. "Thank God," the man said. "I was really starting to think that everyone might be dead. Are you coming from Joppa? Is it dead there too?" The headlight made him put a hand up to his eyes, and he must have recognized Derek. Wop. Thanks, Sam. The headlight made him put a hand up to his eyes, and he must have recognized Derek as he got closer. He took a step back, his smile slipping, but by then it was much too late. He leapt into the man, bearing him to the ground, and pressed the knife to his throat as his latest conquest began to beg and cry. He shushed him, removing the knife and sliding it over his cheek, almost gently. When he drew it sharply across that cheek, Connor gasped in pain. "Now then, you're going to tell me what I want to know, or I will make what remains of your life terrible and unbearable before I end it." "Please," Connor said breathlessly. "I just want to..." He cried out again as Derek cut his other cheek, making the two symmetrical. "Where is Maya?" he asked. Connor sputtered, not answering, but not out of any sense of rebellion. Derek sighed as he set the tip against the edge of the wound. Derek sighed as he set the tip against the edge of the one wound. "I'm gonna make a smile from wound to wound if you don't tell me what I want to know. So, I'll ask you one last time. Where is Maya?" He began to drag the blade slowly, so slowly, toward his chin when Connor spat out exactly what he expected him to say. "The graveyard!" he yelled, panting. "The graveyard. She went back to the graveyard. She wanted to find a way out, so she took the others back to the graveyard. That's all I know. I just want to go home." Derek nodded. Maya had clearly put it together too, and now she was trying to escape. Well, he couldn't let that happen. He had her in the cage now, and if he were going to get her, then it needed to be here. I told you all I know, so let me..." Connor stopped talking when the blade came down and tore his throat out. He gurgled, looking up at him accusingly, of course he would look up accusingly. "He killed him." Connor stopped talking when the blade came down and tore his throat out. He gurgled, looking up at Derek accusingly as his life flooded out. Now, Derek said in the face of those accusing eyes. "I didn't lie to you. I never said I'd let you go. Only that I would make it long and terrible if you didn't give me what I wanted." And that's part 5. Oh, it's 5:30 in the morning, and I'm still tired, and I think I'm getting sick. Hell yeah, dude! Thanks for hanging out. Woo! Cool. Like the very few of you that are here, if you even decide to watch the final production when it drops later this spring or summer, you're gonna go, oh, episode 5 sounds a little weird. Oh yeah, that's when he was getting sick. Oh yeah, that's when his son had strep throat and he probably had it too and didn't know yet. Yeah, that's why it sounds weird. All right, Kay. Catch you later. Cryptic says I could never be up at 5:30. I used to be a night owl. I loved it, dude. I would just stay up and just like write music, play video games, and then when I started the YouTube stuff, I would like try to stay up and record episodes and stuff, but I don't know, dude. I was finding it more and more difficult to actually stay up because when I got 2 kids, and when I go to put them down for bed, sorry, I'm distracted as shit right now. When the entire family, like when fucking bedtime comes around, right? We all brush, we all floss and brush and get our jammies on, and then we lay down. What I was trying to do was just wait until the kids fell asleep so that I could then kind of sneak back out of bed and then go do my stuff. But that was getting more and more difficult. I pulled it off for like a year or more, but increasingly over time, I would end up falling asleep as well. Because, we did the routine. We flossed and brushed. Our jammies are on. All the lights are out. And then I would fall asleep before they would sometimes. So there's no way in hell would I be able to wait for them to fall asleep and then me stay up for long enough for them to like lock in like a deep sleep and then have me sneak out of the bed and, go do something. So I started like waking up early. Right? So we all still go to bed at the same time now, but now I'm just up earlier. I get about 6 hours every night though. So really it's just, it falls under the category of doing what you gotta do. If I didn't wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning to record for an hour or more, a few times a week, there would be no episodes, right? There'd be no Shadows in the Pines. There'd be no Derek Weber. There'd be no whatever the hell else I'm doing. So, that's why that happens. And I don't record every single morning. I mean, like I suppose I could, but I have other interests, you know what I mean? Like I like going to the gym. So I think a perfect week, I wake up at 3:30, at least Monday to Friday. And I either record for 3 of those mornings until everybody else wakes up at like 6 to get ready for work and stuff and school. And then the other 2 days, I'm at the gym. So maybe like a good week would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm recording at 4 in the morning, right? For you. And then Tuesday, Thursday, I'm at the gym. Or vice versa, right? Either one of those, I'll flip-flop them. So there's that. Fuck, I can't stop yelling. I might go lay down for another 20 minutes until everybody wakes up. All right, guys. Hey, I'm so glad you guys are here with me. Thank you for doing this with me. I know a couple of you have been jamming the entire series so far in real time with me. I know I started recording it a couple months ago. But just to wrap, Shadows in the Pines. It's going to be 6 parts. Hopefully I can start dropping episodes June, July. I have one more part to record with you. And then I get to start on an audiobook. A friend of mine wrote a book. Holy shit, dude, I'm yawning so much. I'm so sorry. How annoying. A friend of mine named Sarah Herbison, she wrote a book called Dark Junction. And it's about like witchy stuff. If you like The Craft and maybe a little bit of Law and Order, right? It's like a witchy revenge story. I narrated Dark Junction, and that's been out for maybe 2 or 3 years now. You can find it on Spotify or wherever, you get your audiobooks from. Well, she wrote a sequel. It's called Dark Paths, and she asked me to do the audiobook for the sequel. And of course I said yes, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what's next. So after The Shadows and the Pines production wraps, I can start recording the audiobook for Dark Paths, the sequel to Dark Junction, which you can read now or listen to the audiobook now on Spotify. Sam says, you waking up at 3:30 and me still awake at 3:30. I know, dude. Oh, God. All right. Thanks, everybody. That's the jam. I'll do part 6 next weekish, maybe. I don't know. We'll see if I get sick. All right. Oh, Cryptic, what's your idea? To write a book? Tell me about that real quick, and then I'll go. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. No, I can't. Hold on, dude. We'll talk soon. Trust me, we'll talk soon on Instagram or the next chat or something. All right, but that's it. All right, everybody. See ya. So long. Farewell. Bye-bye.